In today's video, we are reviewing the brand new 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning Flex Edition. Now this bad boy is more than a truck because it can even power your house, and it's much more capable in a lot of other ways, making this truck entirely versatile all over the place. But how amazing is it? Well, let's find out. Starting off in the front of this bad mother trucker, you've got Ford's signature box lights with dual LED high beam lights, as well as this large daytime running light that runs from side to side, from top all the way across. And I really like how it looks, and I'm really interested to see how it lights up at night as well. But overall, the front end does look pretty good. It's a lot of plastic though. This grille here is all entirely plastic, no functionality whatsoever with it, but you do have a massive Ford badge that is bigger than my hand. Below that though, on the lip, you do have a little bit of functionality. You got some airways that come in through here. You got a couple tow hooks, some parking sensors. Overall, it's just a really minimalistic and clean front end on this F-150. But it does get even better, because since this is the Lightning, we also do have a frunk, and quite a large frunk at that too. It is absolutely massive. You can put about 400 pounds worth of stuff up here without exceeding your payload, but overall, you can fit golf clubs, you can fit a couple suitcases, whatever you may need. You normally don't get this type of storage in a truck, that's for sure, because the engine lives here. But back here, you do have your battery, and then on the left-hand side here, we've got 4 120 volt outlets, a Type A port and a Type C port. This is your emergency release for when you inevitably lock your kid in here. And then this button here turns on the lights that we have up at the top of the hood, or frunk hood, whatever you want to say. But below here, we've got some charging cables, and oh, I guess Ford knew that we've got to do the test. Maybe they're telling us something. Is this going to be safe? But in order to close the frunk, you've got a button right here at the top. We'll go ahead and hit that, and we'll see if this eggplant gets crushed. Give it back. Well, Ford, they thought they were onto something, but they did not pass the test because it locked shut on it, and yeah, not a great time. Moving along to the side of the F-150 Lightning, we do have massive 20-inch wheels on this bad boy. Overall though, they are in that like dark gray color. They look pretty good. Nothing really to talk about there, but they look good. And then we've got a F-150 flash logo, and of course on the edges it's got the blue to kind of give it that lightning feel. Overall, pretty nice. Then we've got just factory black plastic side view mirrors, but no problem there because you've got lane departure warning, a camera, and a light at the bottom as well. You can light up everything around this truck when it's nighttime, and that's pretty cool. Moving along further towards the rear, we do have long running boards that extend all the way to the back, as well as our 5.5-foot bed. And then we got another cool Lightning logo with the blue on the outsides again to kind of give it some stylization. Overall, I think that looks pretty sweet. And then we've got these massive taillights as we get to the rear, and they are just huge. They're freaking huge. They're bigger than my hand, but they look pretty cool, stylized pretty well. Overall, not too shabby. And then in the center of the tailgate, we do have F-150 stamped into it. We got some parking sensors around the bottom here, and then this does come with a hitch, of course, installed, and then you got your hitch hookups, some more lights. Overall, it looks like an F-150 in the back. And then by our tailgate handle, we do have 2 more cameras as well, one for the reverse, and the other one I believe is for your hitch. But then we can actually open this up with either the button right here, or again, we can use our remote. Double tap, and it just comes on open. Very nice and easy, like that a lot. But you do have, like I mentioned, a nice 5.5-foot bed, and it is the tough bed straight from Ford. Absolutely great. Now earlier I mentioned that you can actually power your home off of this, and where that's all done is right here. So you've got a 240 volt outlet there, then you've got 2 more 120 volt outlets, and then 2 more 120 volt outlets. All the power you could possibly need. Your truck doubles as a generator, and that is pretty cool. But we've got nice tie-down points all around the truck, and then we even have another storage compartment on the right-hand side of the bed to help with more functionality. That's where I'm going to keep my ratchet straps and everything like that. But we're not done at the bed of the truck yet, because check this out. You hit this button, drop her down, pull her up, and now you've got a step to get into the bed of the truck. Great for old people, great for kids, or just great for me because I want to save my knees, right? And then to put it all back, nice and simple. That's pretty sweet. All right, well, since Ford gave us this handy dandy eggplant, we're gonna see if the tailgate does the same thing as the frunk did. And then in order to close the bed, all you have to do is just tap the button down here and it automatically lifts up. Oh man, complete and utter destruction. No good. You're in for a bad day. Good thing it wasn't my fingers. Well, that about wraps everything up for the exterior of the truck. How about we hop in the cab and see what this bad boy has to offer other than tons of room. All right, when you get into the cab, you do have some very nice minimalistic contrast going on here. You've got some black leather, some gray fabric material that's kind of feels like a vinyl, and then, you know, more gray plastic as well, but lots of storage in the door here. As for controls on the door, they're all very straightforward and simple. You've got your lock and unlock button, you've got your side view mirror controls, and then your front windows only have one touch operation. Your rear windows, you have to hold that button down for the whole eternity it takes to get it down. Now, as for the seats on this F-150 Lightning, you do have 8-way adjustable power controlled seats, but they are just a cloth, but that's not too bad because when you're in a work truck, leather gets beat up and everything like that. But they do seem like quite nice seats, if I may say so myself. So how about we hop in and see? Very comfortable for sure. First thing that I notice when I'm in here is this steering wheel is massive. I mean, I've had F-350s and F-150s myself several times, so I'm used to it, but it is a big steering wheel. Very nice, comfortable steering wheel though, and it also is heated. But on the left-hand side, you've got your driver's assistance functions as well as your voice commands and your volume controls. On the right-hand side, you've got all of your multimedia functions to navigate menus, skip songs, or hang up that call because you just don't want to hear that customer anymore. Beyond the steering wheel though, we do have very typical left-hand stalk. This one just controls our headlights and our windshield washer. Beyond there though, we do have a 12-inch infotainment screen. It looks pretty cool and slick. It's got your pitch and yaw in there, and yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see different power distribution, seat belt status, tire pressures, you know, and all those good things. But the screen itself, very sleek looking, very crisp, no problems with visibility at all. To the left of there, of course, we've got a little air vent here, nice and adjustable. Like I mentioned, this truck has lights all over it. So your side view mirrors both have lights on them. These buttons turn those on or off. And then this button opens up the frunk. This button opens up the tailgate. Then here's your headlight controls, your digital gauge cluster of brightness controls, and then your bed light, your parking brake, and then you can even move your pedals in here. So if you watch closely, you can see them moving. So if you got a short stack person in here, they can still drive the truck. And then of course, we do have a tilting and telescoping steering wheel as well, again, to help those short people. Now, like I mentioned, this truck can actually back up to a hitch for you. And this is all part of that system. So if we hit the on, it will engage. Now it's looking for a hitch. If we say, is the trailer connected? No, it's gonna start initializing, trying to find one. And ultimately there's no ball to find, so it won't find one. But you use this in order to do that. Then you got your built-in trailer brakes, awesome. And then you have this massive 12-inch infotainment screen. And what's even crazier is if you go up to the Platinum and Lariat trims, it's a 15-inch screen. Why do you need that? But Steve's favorite part, I don't know if he actually knows this yet, but Uncle Steve, as you all know, he's Asian, and they love karaoke. And guess what? We can sing Taylor Swift in this truck together. All right, but below there, you'll notice that we're not seeing any heating and air controls. Well, that's because, unfortunately, Ford did that thing that Subaru likes to do, and you know, not many manufacturers are still doing it. They're going back to our physical buttons, but they're all here at the lower, like, fifth of the screen. You can't change any of this stuff around. It stays heating and air, and it stays a touchscreen. I think that's a little unfortunate. I don't really like it much. What's cool though is that you can hit a button, then you can use your volume knob here to adjust it. That's nice at least. That way you're not trying to sit here and tap it and you're tapping the wrong place, getting frustrated and ultimately end up emergency braking. But below there, we do have our windshield defrost button, our hazards, our parking assist, and our traction control. To the right though, we do have a 12-volt outlet in your cigarette lighter jack style, as well as another 120-volt outlet. Absolutely crazy. Now, what's even crazier though, you know, you ever on the go or you're contracted for a job and you've got this paperwork that you just got to get done and you can't wait till you get home or back to the office to do it? Well, the F-150 Lightning has you covered because we've got a whole table. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. But we do also have 2 cup holders as next to the right of our shifters. In front of those though, we do have a wireless charging pad, a Type A USB port, a Type C USB port, and some extra storage going on around it. Very nice. And like I mentioned, the button to the left of the gear selector is to actually fold down your gear selector. And then beyond that, we do have a neutral hold button. So if you're in neutral and you press it, it will allow you to be outside of the vehicle for 30 minutes and keep it in neutral. Now the interior of the center console is massive. It's really freaking huge. You could fit a safe in there. It's really big. But there is another 2 Type C USB ports in there as well. I mean, you can fit like 8 boxes of candy in there, if that's your thing. Now, to the right of the infotainment screen though, you've got another little storage compartment. That's pretty neat. No UV cleaning or anything in there like we've seen on some other vehicles though. And then below there, again, you've got your glove compartment. Pretty decent sized. Now, above the infotainment screen, you do have some more stuff going on. For starters, we've got a little storage compartment right here to put things in, and it's even got this nice rubber mat so that you're not losing anything. But above there, we've got auto dimming rear view mirror. What's a little strange to me though, is there is no digital rear view mirror on this. I just kind of expected to see one here. And then we've got our dome light controls, awesome, and then a place to store my shades. However, there is one thing that I noticed that the F-150 doesn't have, which just seems weird because like the exterior alone has like 15 lights, but you can't get pretty before your hot date if it's night because there's no light. That's a little weird. Now, there are some other cool features in the F-150 Lightning that I've never seen in another truck. To start though, is the onboard scales. This does have a payload rating of 2,000 pounds, so that includes your frunk and your cab. This actually has a built-in scale to let you know where you are. So you can tear it and then put stuff in it and load it up before you go on your trip and it'll weigh it for you and let you know. I think that's pretty awesome. And then also you've got your onboard power, and with this you can activate or disable the front and rear power zones. They're all rated for 90 watts. I think that's pretty cool too. You can even tell it to keep the power on while the vehicle's off, and you can also set up a reserve limit so that like if you need 100 miles left on the truck, it'll do that. How low can you go though? You can go as low as 10 miles. Some other things that are built into the infotainment screen here that typically wouldn't be are your drive modes. So if you go into the controls here, you've got your different drive modes. You can go to sport and then it will adjust some things. You can also, you've got auto hold, locking diff, one pedal driving. But if you just hit off-road, it will automatically lock the rear differential, turn off traction control, and put you in off-road mode. Awesome. And then last but not least, we've of course got camera modes. Look at the UPS guy there. But we've got a bunch of different modes. We can see, you know, the front, the rear, the hitch, the whole front, a bed camera. But overall, this is pretty sweet. Look at all the different camera views. Yeah. Well, that about wraps up the infotainment screen and the front of the truck. I'm gonna hop in the back and see how that's going. All right, now the rear of the F-150 Lightning is styled just like the front. You'll notice the doors look almost entirely the same. The only difference is that you've got this little cubby here for like maybe some candy, some M&Ms or something like that, whatever suits your fancy. But the great thing is that there's actually tons of storage underneath these seats too. You can put stuff back here and it's got the divider to hold it there, or you can like just go to sleep right here. It's so much room, so much space for activities. Now the front seat is in my driving seating position, and as you can see, there's like almost 2 feet of space between my knees and the front seat. Just absolutely roomy as it gets, and tons of headroom too, probably a good 4 or 5 inches there. But man, tons of room back here. 100%. But we get a couple cup holders in the back for us rear passengers, some cloth seats, and then we get a 12-volt outlet in your cigarette lighter jack style. We get a couple USB Type-C ports and a 120-volt outlet. Very nice. No middle armrest comes down or anything like that though, but overall, I would say the back seat is very nice. All right, now we're behind the wheel of this 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning Edition, and you know, it's pretty nice. It drives like a truck. You know, big shocker there, right? But no, it drives like a truck, but it's really comfortable. I've always been a fan of the F-Series Ford trucks, but I feel right at home in it. The throttle is incredibly responsive. It's weird to drive a truck that is as fast as this one is, and we're going to test that in just a minute here and do 0 to 60, but it is a quick little truck. But the interior is very roomy. It's like just absolutely massive actually, but the visibility out of it also very good, because I mean these windows are just absolutely huge too, right? The one thing that I would do if I bought this truck though is I would actually put bigger side view mirrors on it, but it's not an issue anyways. It's just something I would do. But we're coming up to a good spot here, so we've got our race box set up, and I think it's a good time to test 0 to 60 in the F-150 Lightning. So here we go. Definitely feel the pull. We hit 30 in 1.71 seconds, and we hit 60 in 4.1 seconds. Overall, the ride feel is really nice. With the size of tires that you do have on it, you do get a good bit of road noise. We're actually going to take it on the highway. We'll see how it does at higher speeds with wind noise. But when you're around 50, 60, you do get a good bit of wind noise, but it's not the end of the world. It's not like really bad. You just can hear it. It's not the quietest cab I've ever been in, but it's certainly not the loudest. And then, of course, you know, in 2025, Ford ships all their vehicles pretty standard with a lot of different safety features, but this F-150 Lightning does have adaptive cruise control. It's got lane keep assistance, and then also because of its Blue Cruise technology, it does have some autonomous driving. Now, how autonomous that really is, it's not really, but to the left of your infotainment center and to the left of your digital gauge cluster, you'll see that you've got 2 little watchful eyes that are watching me when I'm driving to make sure I'm keeping my eyes on the road. Otherwise, you lose those features. But some of the features that it does, when you have adaptive cruise control enabled, if you just not fully hit it, but if you like kind of half hit your turn signal, it will actually automatically change lanes for you. I've tested this a few times, and my number one warning to you is it just keeps on going. It doesn't stop. So it will throw you into the curb or more traffic or whatever. So yeah, not fully autonomous, like I said. But man, Steve, this truck is really fast.
It's lightning fast.
Let's go ahead and get you in the driver's seat so you can tell us more about the powertrain and what you think about this F-150 Lightning.
All right, it's Uncle Steve behind the wheel of this 2025 Ford F-150 Lightning EV. So Ford offers 4 models. All 4 models is a 4-wheel drive, and they both have 2 electric motors, one in the front and one in the back. So the base model has a smaller battery pack. It produces 98 kilowatts and producing 462 horsepower. And listen to this torque. It's 775 foot-pound of torque.
Sheesh. That's crazy.
That's crazy. For the extended range, the battery pack is a little bigger and produces more horsepower. It's a 131 kilowatts battery, producing 580 horsepower and also 775 foot-pound of torque. 0 to 60 for the extended range is 3.8 seconds, and we did 6.1. I mean 4.1, right?
Yeah.
That is pretty close.
That's definitely pretty close.
For the regular range battery, 0 to 60 actually is 4.1 seconds.
Oh, okay.
For the battery range, the base model XLT, it can go up to 240 miles. For this model Flash, it can go up to 320 miles. And then for the Platinum, which is top of the line, it's a little bit lower, which is 300 miles. I assume the Platinum is a little bit heavier. That's why I got 20 miles less. The battery range. So.
You know what else is really going to hurt those miles you're going to get?
What else?
Towing.
Oh shit, yeah. We don't have the real life data.
No, we don't have real life data, but I was reading on Car and Driver from real life experiences, and on average, when you're towing, it cuts your miles that you're getting down about 2/3.
Wow. And what happened is the winter and towing.
Your car doesn't move.
Josh says drive like a truck. I feel like it's kind of drive like a truck, but also it drive like a big SUV. And it's definitely drive better than the Ranger.
Yeah.
So I did merge on the highway pretty good. Actually, it's really awesome. So I move over to the towing capacity.
Well, you'll actually be shocked by the towing capacity on the F-150 Lightning. I know I was shocked. And there's different configurations you can get to make it more or whatever. But all that matters is that its towing capacity is 10,000 pounds.
Wow. That's not far from the Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the charging time for the battery. For level 2 charger, from 15% to 80% in 10 hours for regular range battery. For the extended range battery, it's 13 hours. For DC fast charging station, for both models, the regular range and the extended range, it's about 42 minutes. If you don't want to install 220 volts in your home for charging, it is take 6 days, little more than 6 days to charge the whole car. That is with 110 volts.
Yeah, you better be installing that 220.
Yeah, 6 days, geez. So since we are driving and test driving and reviewing the EV truck, the competitors, Rivian, R1T, and the Tesla Cybertruck. So, Josh, tell us how much this thing costs.
Well, for pricing, the F-150 Lightning is available in 5 different trims for 2025. And it starts off with the Pro trim, which is a little strange because it's the base model. It comes in at $49,875. Then you've got the XLT, which is a good jump there for 15 grand. It comes in at $65,090. And then the Flash, which we're driving today, comes in at $70,090. And then there's the Lariat, which is $79,090. And then the Mac Daddy Platinum is $87,090. They sure do love $90.
One more thing I want to mention, man. They still offer the federal tax credit up to $7,500.
Yes. And the other thing too is, these Lightnings are not moving. Nobody's buying them.
Yeah.
So likely getting discounts at the dealer too.
Yeah, I have seen they advertise $15,000 discount on the Ford Lightning. That's a lot.
That is.
And then you add on the $7,500.
Yeah.
That is pretty much as 60 grand for an EV truck.
Yeah.
That's way cheaper than both competitors.
Definitely. And it looks better than the competitors too.
Well, that is personal opinion.
It is personal, but I'm interjecting my personal opinion.
So especially for the Cybertruck, the price range for a rear-wheel drive one is 70 grand. So you have this 4-wheel drive with all this incentive is roughly $65,000.
It's a good price, honestly. I think so.
And I like how it is. It's so big. It's bigger than an SUV. The interior is bigger than an SUV, and you can hold stuff. You can put pretty much full size of drywall, right, in the back.
It's only 5.5 foot bed. So.
Okay, so it's just put the tailgate down.
Yeah.
And that's it, right?
There you go. We can do that.
Yeah, and it's fast as hell, in my opinion. Well, it's pretty fast. 3.8 seconds for a big ass truck.
Yeah, I mean, it's faster than most vehicles on the road.
Yeah. So I really like this truck. If I have to convince my wife to buy something new, I will highly recommend her this F-150, even though she's only 4 or 5. So she probably have a hard time to step on this F-150. Well, that's all my opinions. So, Josh, what do you think?
I really like the F-150 Lightning. I agree. If I were to buy another truck, a new truck, this is probably the direction I would go. The charge time is pretty awful to say.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But it's still not I don't think it's a game killer for me, because I would either go to a level 2 charger or I would install one. But I really like how it looks. Basically the same thing you said. I like the roomy interior. I like the capabilities of the frunk and the bed, not to mention all the power options that you have around the truck and the different lighting options that you have. Overall, I think it's just a really good truck.
Yeah, the one thing I would like, you can power your house up to 3 days, right?
Yeah, up to 3 days for the average household. So, if you're a single guy in a house and a hurricane hits or a bad storm hits and it takes out the power, heck, you might be able to run for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, you still have time to buy a Bitcoin.
Yeah, right. Well, there you have it, guys. In conclusion, the F-150 Lightning is definitely a truck you should be checking out. If you're upgrading your fleet or if you're just getting a new truck, it's definitely something to consider for sure, especially if you want to go the EV route. It outclasses a lot of competitors in the area, and that is for certain. Let us know in the comments what you think about the F-150 Lightning. Would you even ever consider getting one? Because they're not moving very well. But smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.